Then Kaperere. Then now that's when Kwame started coming in. And I think Kwame, the first song that I ever heard was him on a hook for a guy called Hawi. The song was called Mama.
Yes.
And come to find out years later after talking to him, Hawi is David Moraes' brother. I didn't, so I was like, oh, okay, this, so it's connected.
Hawi was David Moraes' brother?
Yeah, the younger brother.
Yo, how tiny is this world? I'm finding out this now.
That's what, that's what Kwame told me. I hope I'm not wrong because I don't want to be wrong on camera. But yeah, because Kwame did sing at the funeral. And, so Kwame, when Kwame sang, he sang a Kikuyu song.
Yeah. And
David Moredi was like, that's what you should be doing. But at this time, Kwame is just trying to sing, like very urbanized, because you're trying to fit into what's going on. So
I even did a song with Kwame.
Yeah, Mola. Yeah. I know all this, so I'm keeping track. Remember now, over there, I'm just absorbing, because there's no way of me, at this time, like I'm out of status, I can't come. But 2009, I'm still doing music the whole time and working. And that's when I realized the power of, that's why I'm able to work with people when I'm far away. The power.
That's how you started.
Yeah, that's how I started.
And for me, from this perspective, I was always sure that there's somebody. The video may not. Forget even YouTube, because YouTube came a bit slightly later. Okay, but when YouTube came, I was always putting up content.
Yeah.
I was always sure that there are people in the diaspora hungry for this content.
Oh yeah.
So it was such a battle to convince people. So musicians would give me their music so that I can give it to Pinye so that it can get played on the beat.
I remember.
But in the process, I uploaded it onto onto YouTube.
YouTube.
Yes.
Oh, you.
Yes.
Because Mwapi was
a website. Yeah. So it was.
But it was a very good. And one thing I liked about, didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
One thing I liked about Mwapi, you put information. Like you credited.
Because it's so good to speak to somebody from diaspora.
Yeah.
Because that's why I always did this. Remember, I started Kenyan Madness as a diasporan. So I understood what it is to miss this content.
Yes.
But number two, I was always wanted to be a producer.
Yeah.
So when I when I get a CD, I read the inlay. I don't read the...
we're
like I open up, I read directed by, song written by...
I want to know what studio it is.
Yes, exactly.
And you start noticing specific studios to specific producers.
Yes.
Or like a mastering engineer. And, I started learning, knowing Akina Mani Marikin, all those guys back then, because I was reading those CD inlays.
That's
like crazy. I would go and, obviously like someone like R. Kelly, all of the music would predominantly be him.
Yep.
Babyface, I would notice a lot of... And I started noticing how these people are working. And I noticed collaboration. Okay, yeah, the song is produced by this person, but keyboards are played by a totally different person.
Yep.
Like the guitars, the bass, all that. So this whole time I'm internalizing all of that and realizing when I go to the studio, I don't have to do everything. Because sometimes I was like, I want a real sounding bass on this one.
Yep.
And that goes back to playing in live in a band.
So that goes back to who you work with right now.
Yes, who I work with.
Benjamin.
There you go. It goes to Benja. And even like guys like bass, like a guy like Anariko, who's also an amazing guitarist. And I'm starting to meet other younger, musicians, instrumentalists who are like, I want to work with you.
This is in States now?
No, here.
Oh, right now here?
Yeah. In States, I have a friend who, was playing just for fun in church and for fun for himself. And I've convinced him to actually now get into the music. And he started like last year, and I think he's already released like 6 songs.
Jeez.
He's releasing more songs than me.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And what happened is like the wife and my wife and his wife worked together. So they came for dinner. And then she's like, oh yeah, my husband is a musician. Yeah. So I showed him my studio and we started talking, and We've been working.
So let me ask you. I want to touch on. I want us to eat so that we can get some energy.
Okay.
And then let's touch on this whole. In fact, let's first just touch a bit on it.
Okay.
Out of status. What does that mean?
That means now the first thing that gets affected is you can't travel, because if you leave, you can't come back. You know, that means like it's like you have a red card and you're still on the field. That's the easiest way I can look at it. Like they haven't recognized you have a red card, so they haven't caught up with you. But the day they will, it's gonna be hard for you to get back on the pitch until you streamline certain things. So it's you would need to prove certain things to like maybe try to get back to school and all of that. So, but if you stay in school, you kind of like maintain it, and you know it's now travel now is the part that becomes.
But what about work?
Work?
It's not really affected by.
No, that one you've been in survival mode from day one. Because remember, I told you there's a restriction on the thing.
Yes.
But what are you going to do? You have to eat.
Yeah. So there are places you can't work because as soon as they see that restriction, they're like...
Now they have this thing called e-verify. Nowadays it's even harder. That's why like when guys are like, I want to come to the States, I'm like, okay, yeah, but if you want to come to the States, the best option for you is to have a green card or be sponsored by someone who can get your paperwork done.
Because
unless it's
all it's an e-system now.
Yeah, it's everything.
It's
so it's digital. When you go in and your company does that e-verify, they'll see like you're not authorized to work without permission from Homeland Security.
Oh man. So it must be crazy right now if you're out of status.
Yeah. But
there's only certain jobs you can get.
It's survival.
You can't go hungry.
Okay, you guys do watch like the news, you know, like CNN and everything. The farming industry in the US is actually the people who do the work. At least us we're documented. Those are undocumented. They came through the border. You don't know who they are. But that doesn't mean, you know, like, that doesn't mean they get a bad rep. And I'm like, look, half the stuff that they're doing, you guys don't want to do. They are very integral part of the economy. Yep. You know, if they're not there, most of these farms or companies would go bankrupt, because if they were to pay Americans, they have to pay them a lot of money. And then the same people who are complaining, this I can see from an outsider. So the same people who are complaining about these immigrant workers are the same people who want to pay for cheap food in the stores. But how do you get cheap foods to the store? If the labor
is not cheap.
Yeah. The labor has to be cheap for the food to be cheap. But sometimes that connect, if you've never been in that position, that connect is not there.
Okay. Like, because you're here in Kenya right now with me having a conversation with your family, and you're definitely going to go back. That means you're legal.
Yeah.
How does one go from out of status to be able to travel back and forth? And this is not the first time you've come. You've made it a habit.
Yeah. I come every 2 years.
So were you scared coming back?
No. So because I had a green card.
You got legal when you were still in the States.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I got through marriage.
Yeah. Okay.
So my wife's family came there.
I get it.
Yeah, on a green card.
Is there any other way? Let's say somebody is not married. Is there any other way?
Yeah, you can like a sponsorship for, like I said, like from a spouse, from a family member.
Okay.
You can be sponsored by, let's say you get a job and they really want you. They can file the process. Okay. And then just winning the lotto, the green card. And the other thing is just being lucky. If you get caught and then you give your story to the judge and they're like, okay.
So if you go and declare yourself, you are definitely going to find yourself back home.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, man, okay. If you go be like, yeah, listen, me, my papers ran out. I'd like to just spend some time to get it. Next thing, you'll be on a plane on your way back.
Now, when you know, like, you'll be on a plane back, would you even want to take that chance? You look at you like,
So, but then I know of somebody who left when they were out of status. In fact, here's a clip of them.
And it raised our faith because remember, like at that time, I couldn't go to Kenya because I was out of status.
Yes, you're a criminal.
Remember, I had really, I was out of status. I was out of status. So if I traveled to Kenya, I would not be able to come back.
That was
and
so
guys,
risky.
I actually had an intervention. Pastor Ndebe and other guys, they came and called me and said, hey, don't do this. You're gonna mess up your life. So don't do it. Let the guys go by themselves and then you stay. Then I said, no, I'm going and that's when I came and I went to the embassy and reported myself. And then they gave me another visa, which was a miracle in itself. Because I literally went to the embassy and I said, I went to the States, I violated my status, but now I've got into school and I need another visa. The woman was like, I've never had anybody do that. So she gave me a visa.
Crazy.
Remember that? And then it was our miracle. It was our big miracle.
And us guys were like, we can't go without you.
Yeah.
Like, you better come. If we leave you, we leave you. But we're not going without you.
Hari from Milele, he left when he was out of status, came back, went and declared himself, and he got his thingy.
yeah, it takes faith.
Yeah, it takes some crazy faith because it changes your whole life if they tell you no.
Yeah, you have to. Now you're done.
You've left your family there.
Even when the way he talked about it is like, there was no way he wasn't gonna come. The way I understood the story,
Yes.
he had to come.
Yeah.
But that takes faith.
No, he didn't have to come. He just was like, my boys are going to Milele, are going to perform. Stuff it. I'm not being left here alone.
No, but that means he had to come. So, and he stepped out on faith.
Yeah.
You have to step out on faith on a lot of things. Like, you just have to.
But so if a cop stops you in this process?
It's very different in different states. So in different states, like in Texas, a cop can ask you for your status.
Oh.
But in Maryland, Virginia, Maryland, Washington, those are the two states that I know. They can't. And that's where so they become, that's what they're called.
Immigration.
They have not even migrant. They have a name for it, especially when...
Safe havens.
Yes. But they have a name. I keep on forgetting that name because when the last, presidency was a little bit tough on immigration.
Yes.
So, they've been always tough on immigration, but the last one was...
insane.
It was insane.
Okay. I want us to take a break. I want us to eat. Let's get some energy.
Okay.
Then when we come back, we hit the road running.
Okay. All right.